Hold on a second.
It's time for Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Tonight, let us make them remember we are not afraid!
No fear, no fear, no fear, no fear here on Declare Your Independence with me, Ernest Hancock, and we have my special guest, Jacob Hornberger from the Future of Freedom Foundation. And it's time. It's time to talk to Bumper because I'm telling you, he's a prophetic individual. He was at the first Freedom Summit in 2001, and the day before we started bombing Afghanistan, he gave a presentation. And he said, get ready, here it comes. And I read his article, Madison was right about Korea, and I remembered his presentation. I got you there, Bupper?
Yes, sir.
You know, this is, it's so timely, what you had to say. And it's the same thing that we had heard from you over the years. You're definitely, calling what's coming. So I want you to go ahead and tell us what was your motivation behind writing that article and what does it mean?
Well, it's the motivation is to show people that there's always causes behind these crises that inevitably strike the U.S. empire, and they're rooted in U.S. foreign policy. I started the article out by talking about what James Madison, the founder of the Constitution, had said. And Madison said that, look, of all the enemies to the enemies to liberty, war is the biggest. And he pointed to the Roman Empire, and he said, one of the favorite tricks of the Roman officials was that whenever there was a tax revolt or the citizenry started getting disgruntled over the regulations and the taxes and so forth in Rome, that a favorite trick would be to stir up or provoke some foreign crisis, where, the barbarians are now, coming to invade Rome or some foreign war. And, of course, the result would be that everybody would have to quell their discontent and their rebellion, and they'd have to rally to the flag and rally to the empire, because now the empire was under siege, and in those days it wasn't the terrorists, it was the barbarians. Well, you see this pattern, over and over and over again with respect to the U.S. empire, and most recently here in Korea. As you know, people are complaining about the out-of-control spending over here. They're upset about the debt, the inflation on the horizon, possible bankruptcy, the TSA body groping and porn scanning and so forth. I mean, the natives are restless. They're getting a little bit upset here, and they're starting to listen to libertarians. So lo and behold, there's this huge crisis now in Korea. And the major media, they don't report exactly how it got started. All we hear about is the aggressiveness of the North Koreans, the weirdness, the unpredictability, that they don't care. All of which is true, but, they go and provoke these. The empire goes and provokes these people because what they did was they had these joint exercises planned between the South Koreans and the United States on a little island that is in disputed waters between North and South Korea. It's right off the coast of North Korea. And so what do? They fire artillery shells into the water near North Korea. And, okay, so what does North Korea do? They respond by firing artillery shells at the island. They kill the troops. And all of a sudden you've got this big crisis here. Why is the U.S. government, why is the South Korean government doing this kind of stuff? They know this is a weird regime. They know it's unpredictable. If Hugo Chavez were firing missiles in the Gulf of Mexico, I mean, you'd see U.S. bombers dropping bombs in Caracas later tonight.
Why did they do this, really? Is it really just wag the dog, change the lead, change the lead, change the lead? I mean, is it, distraction from our other problems? You want to play World War III games. I'm just thinking that you're probably, China and North Korea. And North Korea, when they had the original Axis of Evil, I remember that with George Bush, we had www.warmonger.com administration. They came out and they said, look, we got the Axis of Evil. We got Iraq, Iran, and North Korea. Well, North Korea, they're going, oh, you got this weapons of mass destruction thing going on? Well, we'll give you Polaroids, man. Yeah, it's right here. And so we kind of left them alone. But now, I mean, are they that desperate that they need to really start to threaten World War III with Korea and China, right after China and Russia have abandoned the dollar, and they start having joint military exercises and all kinds of stuff? I mean, it's craziness. Are we on that such a weak foundation that we need to have that kind of distraction? Is that what it was? I mean, is there really why would they be firing artillery, into what's disputed waters and them doing it anyway? It's like they wanted this to happen.
Oh, it's crazy. I mean, it makes absolutely no sense at all. But, the problem is that empires inevitably become very insecure. I mean, you've got, despite the fact that we have the most powerful military in history, we spend more money on military armaments than all the other countries combined. I mean, it's ridiculous. But there's this tremendous sense of insecurity. And the empire officials sense, oh my gosh, China is a rival, it's rising as a rival and all this. And, and empires hate rivals. And so
I just see more customers.
Of course, because you and I think in terms of trading and getting into mutual deals with people and so forth. But empires think in terms of projection of force, domination, intimidation. And, of course, that is what they're doing now. They got this carrier group heading on over there to show, the American strength. And, I mean, it's just horrible because this is what America stands for now. It's not the economic prosperity and the free trade and the cultural exchanges. It's all about militarism at this point. Who's got the most powerful military in the world and who can project the strength and who's got more armaments and who's got more bombs. And it's horrible. I mean, this is not what the Founding Fathers envisioned for this country.
Well, let's go ahead and discuss why. I guess we know why, distract from something, but what do you anticipate is going to happen here? I mean, what are we looking at that's a threat?
You mean here in the United States?
Yeah, they have to distract from something. I mean, we're looking at, I tell you what, this is the theme that we're going to have at the Freedom Summit for our Friday evening program. You remember, Friday evening we'll have some kind of pre-summit debate thing, and we'll just, get the people all woohoo. Well, this week, we're going, this Friday for this year's summit, we're going to be discussing, the foreclosure gate and mortgages and all the derivatives. And we just kind of give an idea, a 15, 20-minute presentation. Okay, this is what's going on. But I tell you what this discussion is going to be. It's going to be, now what? I mean, I anticipate that commodities are going to shoot through the roof. We're going to have energy and food is going to go. We have inflation that's happening. We already have, Russia and China abandoning the dollar. That's going to have a major impact. We already see against the euro, gold was at a record today. This morning I woke up and I asked my wife, I go, hand me the remote. And I put it up on CNBC right at the opening bell. And I go, all right, let's see what happened. Yep, that's what I thought. Boom, stock market plummets. We're going. So I can see that in a few months, we're going to be in probably a situation that libertarians, all of us have been, certainly anybody that's gone to the Freedom Summit, a lot of the great speakers that we've had, you've spoken at 2 of our summits, and it has been I don't know if it's prophetic or a prediction you guys are really good at or something, or is it just simple math? I mean, what is it that gives you and a lot of us the clarity of what's coming? And when we come back, I want Jacob Hornberger of Future Freedom Foundation to kind of walk us through what's predicted, what's going to happen, what we need to be preparing for, and how might all the levels of government react to what's coming. Jacob Hornberger from the Future of Freedom Foundation. And we're going to find out what the future of freedom is. You guys stay right there. We'll be right back.